Start by finding somewhere. We're going to be lying down quite soon, but finding somewhere to sit. Welcome to Nourish session 3. So, for the benefit of the recording, this is session 3 in Nourish, and normally usually it is a yoga practice, more traditional yoga practice, but we always have options. And you can join from wherever you are and wherever you need to be. So, whatever position you're in, take a moment to notice how you feel this morning, how you are this morning, and what your body needs this morning. What your body needs, what your inner self needs. You might need to rock a little bit to start. You might need to stand a little bit to start, and that's okay. You might need to be lying down straight away. If you're feeling quite wound up and anxious, you can also shake a bit as well. Shake hands, shake arms. There's something in the air at the moment affecting some of us. Exactly. A good shake. I like as well to shake and then feel the energy flowing through your hands. And then come straight to lying down. Or if you're in a chair, resting back in your chair. It's cold in here, so I'm on the sheepskins. You might want a bolster under your knees. You might want a pillow under your head. Anything at all. And have a little scan through the whole body. Noticing. Because when I say notice your body, what tends to happen to me personally is the thing that hurts the most draws my attention. And actually, I'm neglecting the other bits. So have a little notice how it feels to be your toes and your feet, your full legs, your pelvis and your belly, your back. And you know there's no rush. And if you find yourself comfortable and you don't want to move with the next invitation, stay where you are. You're actively doing what your body would like you to do. And then take awareness to your head and your neck. Maybe even touch the back of your neck very gently. No deep prodding. And notice if there is any tenderness there. And then very gently roll your head over to the left. You can go right if you prefer. And we're not looking for end range of movement. I say this quite often, but it's easy to get caught into the trap. Maybe I'm speaking of myself, of doing something correctly when instructed. And so turning my head right the way over, just gently over to the left. And then roll it back like it's in slow motion back to center. Maybe have a little head shimmy in center. And pause before you roll it right, because just adding that movement, that intentional movement over to the left, might mean it already feels different. If you're seated, see if you can have your head supported at the back of the chair as you do this, not dropping back, resting. And roll the head over to the opposite side, the right side. Noticing if it feels different, the same. And then gently back to center. And maybe you roll again, but less, not as far, just a little bit, and go side to side very slowly, but not as far as you did the first time. And let it just flow and glide very gently. It might be tiny, that movement. can be really, really slow. What it shouldn't be is really, really fast. And maybe play with how far you're turning it. Notice where the turn feels good and where maybe the turn doesn't feel so good. Let me just come and have a look. So if you are seated and you are not resting your head against anything, you can still turn it. Just be careful not to throw it back. Just turning it side to side. Like you're saying, no, thank you, not today. And you can slow it right down. So if somebody was watching, they'd think that the speed of the video had turned down. Lovely. And then bring it back to center and pause. And perhaps you can imagine your awareness like water soaking through your neck, exploring each part. Your breath bringing nourishment to every vertebra, every muscle. Go and lie back down. And then your head can stay still. I'm going to do the same with the arms. And if you're lying down, your arms will be on the ground. If you are sitting up, they might be resting, but it doesn't matter. You're turning the whole of the arm. So again, we're not going for that end range of movement, just flowing a little bit each arm. So your hand will turn over, but the movement isn't just at the wrists. As you turn your hand over, there'll be movement a little bit at the elbow. And then if you turn it a bit more gently, you'll get some movement at the shoulder. And let your awareness be especially focused in what's going on in the shoulders. And because of the position you're in, the shoulder movement might be tiny. That's okay. Extra points for small movements. Noticing when you move at the shoulder, how your shoulder blades, your scapula move as well. And then pause again. And let your awareness seep through the shoulders, through the bone at the top of the arm, to the humerus, and up into the shoulder joint. Perhaps you can visualize the breath there as well, bringing nourishment. I'm going to move to the legs. So it doesn't matter what position you're in. We're looking at some whole rotations of the legs. So you might be lying flat. Your feet might go side to side. You might be supported like I am. And this side to side, you might be sitting in a chair. And it might mean that your knees go side to side. But again, the awareness is especially at what's happening in the hip joints, around the hips. It can be tiny, teeny, weeny. Noticing if one side feels different to the other as well. I know I'm always saying it, but we are not symmetrical beings. Notice what else joins in as well. If your feet are having a little happy dance at the same time. And then pause. Notice the difference in sensation, if you can feel one, because we're all different there as well, what we tune into. And sensing that spread of awareness through the hips, seeping through. Maybe visualizing the breath through the hips as well, bringing that nourishment. And then if you're lying down, you can bring your knees to your chest. If you're seated, you can take your hands to your knees. And take some gentle knee circles. Again, we're not looking for end range of movement. If your feet are flat on the floor, you can still circle the knees. Slow it down. And notice as you move the knees where there might be tension or discomfort. Be gentle. And then gently let the knees go, let the hips rest. Let your feet be wherever they want to be, and notice any shift again in sensation in the hips. Come back up to the shoulders, and this time you might take your fingertips to the shoulders and take some circles. It's like your elbows are drawing circles, and there might be tiny circles. There might be bigger circles. You have a little look. Perfect. Circle. Any circle is a good circle. Or even tiddly. Or visualize the circles if that's not comfortable. Listening to your body. And then pause. And in your awareness, seep through the shoulders again. And take awareness back to the neck and the head. So this time, we're going to go side to side, but taking the chin down towards the chest just a little. You're not cranking it up off the floor if you're lying down, just tilting it slightly to take the chin towards the chest and then up to the other side, but just a little bit. And if that feels uncomfortable, don't do that. Take it just side to side without lowering the chin. Notice the response that you have, or if there's pleasure, discomfort. And if you're lying down, you can take that circle so that the eyes go up as well. Because you're lying down, your head is fully supported behind. If you are seated and you haven't got support, please don't drop your head back. Just like the chin, draw a circle so that your head still isn't dropping right back. Your circle, that's it. Just feeling into that movement. We often see people guiding, dropping the head right back. If you have a sensitivity in your neck, that can most definitely aggravate it. Now we're moving back down to the shoulders. So pause first, let your neck settle. Sink and soften, notice. And then we're going to have a gentle stretch across the shoulders. So taking your right hand and taking it across the body. I'll sit up so you can see. Actually, I'll come to the camera so you can see. I need a kneeling pad here. Hand across the body. And with the other hand, gently encouraging it. That's it. Not forcing, not pushing. And rather than and hold, just gently moving so it's softly dynamic. Lovely. Let it go. Notice. Try the other side. Cross the body. Gently dynamic. If that's too much, you can also just move the lower arm a little. Okay. Remember, you always know your own body best. And then pause. Notice how your shoulders feel, your arms. And let your awareness glide back down to the hips. We're going to have a pigeon version. So you know it lying down, most of you, but I'll show you anyway. Feet flat if you're lying down. Flexing one foot and taking ankle to above the knee on the thigh. And then encouraging that upper thigh away. And either staying there or lifting the foot off the ground for a stronger stretch. Same if you are seated. Let me get my chair out. Same if you are seated, you can take the foot across the ankle or you can take it right across the thigh, but it's fine if it just crosses at the ankle. If you're on a seat, you can sit on the edge of the seat, and if you take the foot across the ankle, it allows you to push that thigh away or across. Whatever works for you. But gently and exploring it, not looking for that end range of movement, even those of us that love a hip stretch. And keeping it softly dynamic. And let it go and pause a moment before taking it to the other side. Swapping sides, whatever option you've gone for. Finding where it feels juicy and nourishing, but not straining. You can flex the foot as well. It brings a different sensation. It's not really protecting anything because nothing's at a great risk here, but it can deepen the stretch and having that tiny bit of dynamic movement again. And then let that go. Soften, sink, notice. We're going to have a gentle twist. So I'll show you lying down first because I'm lying down. So we do many twists and in many forms, but we're looking for thoracic twist, which is where most of the twist comes from anyway. And if you fold onto one side as usual, but I'll just move back a bit. Instead of folding right the way out, just play with opening that shoulder a little, trying to keep the knees pointing the same way and feeling into is as your upper shoulder drops back, you can feel the twist in the thoracic spine. Let me just show you if you're seated. So if you're seated, it's the same. If you turn to one side and then let the shoulder turn out. So it's not just your head, your shoulder. If you turn the body to one side and then bring your shoulder, your head might move with it, obviously, but sense into where it is across the upper back. That's the thoracic spine. And find it where it's juicy, but not painful. Just so body lined up one way. So where I'm doing this, even if you kneel to one side and turn the body, you can feel it. And then gently let it come back to center and take it to the other side, noticing again, feels any different. And you don't have to do it in being still. You can always have that movement. It's something I do in bed when I can't sleep if I've got discomfort. It's like I like to wring out my upper spine, like when you wring out a dishcloth. That's how it feels. And then gently come back to center. Whatever position you're in, pause. Notice. And notice how the body feels now, how you feel now compared to when we started. Now, we're moving to seated for those that want to. You can stay lying down, and for those that already were seated, we're coming to join you. So, picking your spot. Hello, seated people. Nice to join you. If you're sitting on a mat, having a cushion under the very back of the sit bones helps tilt the pelvis a little. And why do we tilt the pelvis? It's so we don't slump and round. If you tilt the pelvis, you get the natural curves and so less backache. Grab a little drink if you'd like one. I'm noticing I'm very thirsty at the moment. Something to do with the weird alignment of stars and planets that we've got this week. Now, sitting in easy pose is a choice. If you'd rather sit with your legs out, that's fine. If you'd rather be in a chair, that's fine. If you're up in bed, that's fine. This is my seat of choice because I like it. So pause and notice again with particular awareness to the hips, shoulders and upper back, and the neck. So let's go back to the neck. And I know those that have been seated have been already doing this, but taking your neck off the support, if you're resting on against something, and doing that turn side to side again, nice and gently, nothing too strong, not forcing, exploring and noticing if it feels different than it did before. Then pause. Now mirror now. So taking the right hand down to the mat or next to you in the air if you're seated and walking the fingertips away from you, even if they're hanging in midair. And then letting the head tilt the opposite way. And it only tilts a tiny bit because it feels like quite a strong stretch for some of us in that neck and even through the shoulder. You might again make it dynamic. So that by that I mean move it slightly in and out, but not forcing. And then with your left hand, which is the direction your head's going in, let your left hand push it back, guide it back. Accept the support from your hand. Swap sides. So mirroring for you, I'm taking out my left hand now to the side. Head is going over to the right, noticing that stretch. Dynamic again. soft and gentle. Noticing if it's different. And then with that right hand, allowing the right hand to support your head and take it back. Have a little gentle neck shimmy. Like those dolls that's got like a wobbly head? So you can get a little head wobble. Little head wobble. Head wobble means you are required to release some of the tension. So it's quite difficult for some of us. Little head wobble. See, I have to wobble my shoulders to get my head to wobble. And my eyes. Oh, for anybody watching the recording, you're missing a treat. Watching the Zoom room of head wobble. It's beautiful. Head wobble. Okay, we'll take a side stretch. So right hand down to the mat, inhale and lifting the left arm. Being careful with that shoulder. If your shoulder doesn't want your arm overhead, just take hands to fingertips to shoulder and over. But as you go over, try and lift out of the pelvis so that you're tilting in the upper part of the spine. We're not trying to get down to the mat. We're just trying to lift up and over. And you can do this lying flat as well, of course. Come back. Other side. Inhale up, lifting out and over. Feel that in the upper spine. And back. Do that with a gentle twist now. So left hand to right knee, right hand either to the side or behind. And even when you take that right hand behind, you can feel it into the upper muscles of the back. Then inhale, lengthen up through the spine. Exhale and let that have a little twist. Again, we're not looking for end range of movement. Breathe, no breath holding. Feeling the squishiness. And gently come back. Oh, and notice you might feel a bit asymmetrical. So we'll do that to the other side. Right hand to left knee, left hand behind. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale and twist gently. Bit of that wringing out sensation again. Breathing. I was used to hold my breath. Don't let people make you hold the breath. And gently letting go. Now having a little chest shimmy, upper back shimmy, a wiggle. Doesn't matter what it looks like. I found a video I did of twirling the other day that I posted this week, and I did a really good shoulder shoulder shimmy that I couldn't repeat on demand. I don't know how I did it, but shimmies are good. Shimmies get things unstuck. Shimmies are good for your fascia connective tissue. Now we're going to take the arms up in the air. So inhale, lift them. If you only want to lift them so far, that's fine. You only lift them as far as you want them to go, but you might want to lift them all the way up. Exhale, bring them down. And again, inhale up. Exhale down. For those of you who have a strap, one of you will not be doing this. You know who you are. Anybody with a big injury, shoulder injury, which you've already been doing everything right for your body, I can see that, but this would be bad for you. So the strap, I'm going to take over the shoulder. I'm going to just take it over the shoulder in one hand, right behind us, and the other hand is going to take hold of it. We are not trying to get our hands together. We might a bit later, but we're not trying that now. So it's just having something between the two. And you can walk your hands a little closer. So one thing I like to do is kind of give my elbow a little push up towards the ceiling. I'm not trying to force it, but just encouraging it and taking that strap. But no trying to force hands together. And even if you can, my invitation to you is to explore the sensation before then. We have some very flexible people in the room, so take care if you are in the flexible zone. And maybe move the strap a little so you've got a bit of dynamic movement. You can keep it at full length. It doesn't have to be close together. And let it go. Shoulder shimmy. Shoulder wiggle. Swap sides. Strap over the shoulder. Grab it on the other side. Maybe encourage that elbow upwards. And then have a little bit of a play. Lovely. And let it go. And you know cat-cow? Well, doing a gentle seated cat-cow, but really leading with your shoulders. So as you inhale, lifting the chest forward, sending the shoulders back. As you exhale, pulling the shoulders forward, rounding a bit. But let the shoulders lead. It doesn't matter what it looks like. Letting the shoulders lead. Lovely. You can even take your arms across the front, as though you're doing some kind of posing muscle man competition. We're not doing that. It just struck me because I was watching everyone in the Zoom room. And let that go. Shimmy, wiggle. One more with the strap. Well, here, we'll come back to it later as well. And this already happened in the Zoom room anyway. There was a natural tendency, I think. So taking the strap in both arms and lifting, but pulling outwards slightly. Doesn't matter how high you lift it. It can go all the way up. It doesn't have to. And bring it back down. And lift it. You can go a little bit over the top. No straining. And back down. Let that go. Shoulder freestyle. Shimmy, wiggle, move. Notice what your shoulders are seeking right now. And then pause. While we are still seated, for those that are, we'll have a little bit of hip work. So just a butterfly pose. So taking the soles of the feet together, same as if you're in a chair, the feet will be flat on the mat, and letting the knees drop out. You can have cushions. It doesn't matter how far they drop out. You can have cushions, bolsters, or they might drop all the way out. It's the only bit of me that's flexible, which is probably why I like it. And again, making sure if you're seated that your hips are tilted so that you've got that lovely curve in the spine that's natural. And you can have a tiny fold forward. Inhale and lift and lengthen. Exhale and fold just a little bit. Some of you will be able to fold right the way down, but please don't go for the end range of movement. Make it dynamic, little gentle bounce. And then let it go. Maybe stretch out your legs and have a little wobble. Okay. For those that want to, we're coming to hands and knees. We're only there for 2 poses, maybe 3. Maybe have a drink first. And I'll give you chair options or seated options as well. So, tabletop, classic tabletop. Wrists under elbows, under shoulders, knees under hips. Find your tabletop. A wiggle and a shimmy is always good because sometimes you don't even know that you're like offside or asymmetrical until you have a reset shimmy. And then take some cat-cow. So inhaling, tilting the pelvis, belly lifting through the chest. Exhaling, tilting the pelvis, rounding through the spine, chin to chest. If you're sitting, you can do the same, but rather than the way we did it before, hands on knees. I'm sitting on my knees, but it doesn't matter how you sit. I'm sitting on my feet. Inhaling, tilting the pelvis, lifting through the chest. Exhaling, rounding through the spine, chin to chest. And just a couple of those in your own time. Or move intuitively. You might even have a little bit of side to side. But letting that flow be in the spine. The spine is leading. No rush. And then come to stillness. I'm going to have a thread the needle. This is good for the thoracic spine and the shoulders. I'll show you a version to sit for sitting if you are seated. But if you are not, take a hand, raise it up to the sky, doesn't have to go very high, and then thread it through the opposite arm. You can stay there, or your shoulder can come right down to the mat. Sit bones stay high. If you are seated, you can still take an arm up, thread it through, because that twist is still occurring in the thoracic spine. So up and through. And it's as far as you want to be. Make it soft and gentle. Bring it back when you're ready. I sometimes like to stay down there. And then have a little wiggle, shimmy of the hips of the spine before we do that on the other side. Arm lift, arm through. Sit bones are high. I'm coming to look. You do it your way. Lovely, lovely, lovely. And you can flow it exactly, or you can stay there. Beautiful. And come back out. And gently pushing back to child's pose just for a little rest, if you wish. Might be over a bolster, might be wide-legged, which is my child's pose of choice, or if you're in a chair, folding over a cushion or a pillow for a moment. Beautiful. Letting your breath settle and awareness drifting through each part of the body, each part of you. And then we were going to come up to standing, but I'm not sure who wants to stand and who wants to not stand. If you want to stand, put your arms hand in the air. Was that one person wants to stand? Two people want to stand. Yeah, we've got hands up for standing. Okay, we'll come up to standing. You do not have to stand. You can stay seated. You can do this from seated. But I'll give you options of standing if that's where you want to be. I better take off my socks if we're going to stand, because otherwise I'll be slipping on camera. It's not a good look. So, either seated or standing, finding your way, your place, having a little bit of intuitive wiggleness, noticing what you can feel and where. Wiggling and shimmying is the best way to tune into what's going on. Taking the arms up again, inhale, reach them overhead. You might even come onto your tiptoes if you're standing. Exhale and let them go. And we're having a little twist. So again, you can do this from seated, but flowing a little bit side to side and trying to keep that awareness in the upper spine. A few cracks, that's okay. You can take it a bit faster if you wish. You're nicely warmed up. And you know I'm the girl that likes to twirl. And let it go. Okay. Taking the feet out. What would a session 3 be without a warrior? We're finding our inner strength. So stepping out the feet, and you can do the same seated, let the legs stick out, turn and mirroring. So turn the right toes towards the short edge of your mat or imaginary mat. Bring the left toes in a little bit. Take a hug. And remember, every time you take a hug, it's good for your shoulders. Have a squeeze. And there's a reason to have a hug on the opposite side, so that the hug lets both shoulders have a go. On the next inhale, sweep out the arms, bend into that right knee. Make it shorter if you wish. Finding your warrior. Come back to the hug. Maybe swapping your hug for the good of the shoulders. I'm telling myself that. Sweep back out to your warrior. Just a reminder of your inner strength. If your arms are not feeling it, they can be on your hips. One more hug on this side. Back to the hug. Remembering that self-care, self-compassion. Back out, your warrior. I'm going to have an extended side angle. So arm to thigh and reach that upper arm up and over. So you have a long line of energy from your fingertips down to your foot. Beautiful. Let that shoulder stay back. Don't let it drop in. And then keeping the knee bent, rise back up to warrior. Beautiful. And let it go. Let the feet come in to have a shimmy. Shimmy and a shake. We'll do that on the other side. So, stepping the feet out, left toes towards the short edge. Back to the hug. Just linger an extra moment. You know, an extra moment of a hug is always good. And sweep out, bending that knee, coming into your warrior two. Virabhadrasana too, don't you know? Let it go, come back, maybe hug on the opposite side. Pause and linger. Back out. Warrior. Remembering your inner strength, even when it doesn't feel like it. Last warrior hug. So make it count. Squeeze it. And warrior. Extended side angle. So left forearm to thigh. Right arm up and over. It doesn't matter what it looks like. Letting that upper shoulder roll out rather than in. Beautiful. Keep the knee bent, rise back up. Wonderful. Let it go. Shimmy and a shake. Okay, we're going to have some eagle. Eagle. We're going to do eagle arms, and then we're going to do eagle lying down, but I will show you eagle legs as well. Eagle arms. There are several options. First option is hands to opposite shoulder. Second option, right, let me get this right. So, because it's not as straightforward as it looks. So first option, if we're doing it on my left hand, because I'm mirroring, goes first, other hand on top. So next option, left hand goes under the right arm, and then moves towards, the hands move towards. Next option, left arm goes under and hands touch. And we're meant to lift it a bit, but see how your body feels. Whichever option feels good. Got pieces of paper on my feet. And maybe have a little bit of movement in whichever eagle option you've got. And gently let them go. Ooh, strong. Other side, right arm to right shoulder first, crossover. Lovely. Yeah, or to heart, that's good. Then right arm under left, hands point up. Or right arm under left, hands touch, arms lift. Notice what feels good. And let it go. Shimmy and a shake. Eagle legs. Left foot across leg. I've got black trousers on, it's a bit hard to see. Cross leg. Or left foot, I'm going to hold the ceiling, across leg, and it binds around the back. My legs are not going to do that today. It's not going to happen. Opposite side, we're going to do it lying down in a second. Right foot, cross leg, toes to the mat. Or right leg around and binds. And then you add them together, but we're going to do that lying down. Apart from a little star in the Zoom room that was doing that. Well done. So first, coming back down to the mat, a little bit of cow face. Cow face. Strap handy. So cow face. First option, one knee crossing over the other. We do this lying down, by the way, and you can do seated, and I'm going to show you the lying down version when we get there. The other version is knee bent, one knee in front. So my right knee is in front, the foot is out to the side, left knee over the top, and the knees kind of line up, feet out to the side. Ooh, interesting. But you can cross them a little bit. That's okay. Cross them where it feels good. And we do this lying down, literally the same way. One crosses over the other, take hold of the feet. And we do that quite regularly. Lovely for some people with sciatic nerve problems. On the other side, left foot across, knee in front. Right foot across, knee in front. We're not going to add we'll not add the arms in. There's enough. There's enough confusion with limbs flying about in the Zoom room. We'll do it lying down. Get rid of the strap. So, cow face again. For anyone lying down, if you are in a chair, crossing the knees and squeezing them together. If you're lying down, crossing the knees, squeezing them together, and then lifting them into the air, sending the feet out to the side, taking hold of the feet. Squishy. And you are likely to feel it right through the buttock of one cheek, particularly, where the sciatic nerve runs. Maybe have a little rock here, a little wiggle, little play. and let it go. And then try it on the other side. Cross the knees, squeeze the knees in tightly. Feet out to the side, take hold of the feet, send them out to the side. I'm just going to come and have a look. Feet in the air. Oh, brilliant. Yeah. Lovely. So feeling into it is more important than what it looks like. And then stay there or come back to center. Gosh, my room has really warmed up. Oh, maybe bring the knees to the chest, have a little rock. And it's time for eagle again if you're lying down. So eagle legs, crossing one over the other, just like we did the cow face, but sort of keeping them tightly in. And if your feet will bend around the back, which mine won't today, then do that. And adding in the arms, either hands to chest, hands to opposite shoulders, or one arm around and under. Don't worry about which arm is with which leg, it doesn't matter. So find the eagle or element of eagle that's good for you. Hold it for a moment and let it go and soften and melt away. And try it on the other side. Cross over, bind if you can and wish. Add in the arms if they're willing on this side. Hold, breathe into it, feel it. No pain though. Keep it there as long as you wish, and when you're ready to, let it melt away. And then wherever you are, be comfy. So if you're on the mat, sink into it. If you're in a chair, sink back. Perhaps windshield wiper the legs. And see if you can sink into your own exhale. So as your breath goes out, sink and soften. Notice if your body is demanding something else, like another twist, or a happy baby, or legs in the air, or stillness. And you take the pose that your body is seeking. If it's a happy baby, feet go up to the air. If you're lying on a mat or in bed, taking hold of the outsides of the feet or the big toes. You can have a little rock like a baby. But you might not want to do that. You might want to just send your legs up into the air with or without a cushion. You might want to just have your knees into your chest or be still. Noticing what your body wants. Lovely. And then as you're ready, come into a resting pose. Shavasana if you're lying down, or resting back in a chair. I'm going to sit up, but I'd like you to be as comfortable as you can, whatever that pose is. Sinking, softening, resting. And Shavasana is not to be sniffed at. Shavasana is the body's time to integrate everything that you've done. So if you want a blanket or woolly socks or anything, get what you need. And invite your own body to find some stillness. Now, not everybody likes stillness, so gentle movement's okay too. But sinking, softening, resting, in whatever form that takes. I'm going to leave you in silence in Shavasana for the next 3 minutes. And then you'll hear my voice again. Coming to the end of Shavasana, but you may wish to stay exactly where you are. We'll have a guided meditation practice. If you'd like to come to seated, gently make some movements and wiggle fingers and toes and come up to seated. And allowing your awareness to seep through the whole body, your whole self as a body. Inhaling with expansion and exhaling with softness and ease. Each time you exhale, seeing if you could sink a little more into the exhale. Taking awareness to the head. Noticing the muscles around the eyes and the cheeks, the jaw, the tongue. Breathing in with expansion. And breathing out with softness, ease, sinking into the exhale. Awareness from the head into the neck and shoulders. Noticing any sensations there, especially after this practice. Perhaps you can sense or imagine the nourishment spreading through the neck and the shoulders with each breath. Breathing in with expansion. Breathing out with softness, ease, sinking into the exhale. Moving awareness into the whole of each arm, through the upper arm and elbow, the lower arm and the wrists, down into the hands, each finger and each thumb. Sensing, imagining that nourishment spreading through. Breathing in with expansion. Breathing out with softness, with ease, sinking a little more into the exhale. Awareness moving from the arms into the chest, filling the whole of the chest, the lungs, the heart, the ribs. Sensing, imagining the nourishment through each part of the chest. Breathing in with expansion. Breathing out with softness, ease, sinking a little more into the exhale. Awareness moving into the belly, filling the whole of the belly and the pelvis. Sensing, imagining nourishment spreading through the belly and the pelvis. Breathing in with expansion. Breathing out with softness, ease, sinking a little more into the exhale. Allowing awareness to move through the belly and pelvis and down into the hips. Awareness of the hips, the upper legs, the knees, the lower legs and the feet. Each toe. Sensing, imagining nourishment spreading through the legs, from the hips down to the toes. Breathing in with expansion. Breathing out, softness, ease, sinking a little more into the exhale. Having awareness of the whole body, yourself as a whole body, expanding and softening, sinking, and allowing your awareness to rest in the whole body for the next couple of minutes. Breathing in with expansion, breathing out, softness, ease, sinking into the exhale. As we reach the end of this practice, take any movements you need, perhaps a stretch, perhaps a hug, perhaps a deeper breath. And either stay exactly where you are, or as you're ready, open your eyes if they were closed and come back to where we began. Thank you for joining us. If you're watching the recording, I'm going to stop it now and check in with the people in the Zoom room. There will be a playlist, which I will put in the platform area or in the comments of the video, that you can follow for creativity practice should you choose.